Today is the 9th of May, and so today is the 75th anniversary of our liberation in Jersey. And the last person I want to reflect on as we're looking at not only the cost to so many people, but the importance of liberation, is a young lad called Frankie Villio. Frankie Villio was a St Saviour's boy, and his family lived in the parish. In the war, he was a young teenager. And I think at the age of about 16, as some young teenagers boy do, he was a bit of a tearaway, and he stole a motorbike to go for a joyride. And the motorbike he stole was a military one belonging to the Germans. I'm not for one moment suggesting it's a good idea to go joyriding and stealing, but a very minor crime in our world, probably today being told off or going before juvenile court, and a very minor sentence. This lad, for doing that, was sent to court, and he was sent to German prison camp in his mid to late teens for such an innocent, really innocuous thing to have done. And he was in several camps, including Belsen, and he survived the war, but his health completely broke down, and in the end he was in hospital in Nottingham. At the end of the war, so many people were just moving around, so much people trying to find homes again, and he died as a direct result of what had happened to him in prison camp in 1947, I think, in Nottingham. And his remains lay in a churchyard in Nottingham, a cemetery, hardly known, and yet a man called Stan Keeler, who was the son, incidentally, of the rector of St Mark's during the Second World War, knew the story and spent years trying to trace the grave, which he eventually did. And with the family's consent, on September the 5th, 2018, so not 2 years ago, we held a service in this church with the mortal remains of Frankie Villio here being repatriated to Jersey. And it was a moving service, and many people turned up just to remember and to honour. And after the service, his mortal remains were not buried here. They went to Serville Cemetery because his parents were there, and it was felt that he should be reunited with his family. But he was brought back to Jersey and a St Saviour's boy. And Stan Keeler himself died this March. He was an elderly man. And so I've ended with that story, both because the shockingness of such a trivial offence leading under occupation to a terrible journey into prison camps, and then very early death in his late teens. And yet it was only 2 years ago his mortal remains were brought back. And what happened 75 years ago is still relevant to today. Several people have contacted me since I started this course, being grandchildren or even children of those whom we're remembering. And so we do two things today. We remember and honour a very serious thing to do, the huge cost to so many. And we give thanks to God for the determination of that generation not to be defeated by occupation and imprisonment. And we remember to be thankful for liberation.